What's up YouTube? Ryan Panny here. Hope you're doing reasonably well. I just want to quickly react to this big Avenged Sevenfold US tour that was just announced yesterday. Likely to be one of the highest grossing rock tours of the entire summer. You know, Avenged Sevenfold are fucking ticket sales machines regardless of who's on the bill, but in this case the support will come from Prophets of Rage, the rap metal supergroup featuring members of Rage Against the Machine, Cypress Hill, and Public Enemy. And then the other band on the bill is 3 Days Grace, who will be touring in support of their brand new album Outsider, which actually drops this Friday, March 9th. And you know, I just had some feelings about this announcement, and being the self-centered cunt that I am, I figured, you know, why wouldn't you guys want to hear about it, right? So Avenged, as you may recall, they put out their 7th album, The Stage, back in fall of 2016. I reviewed that very positively, ranked it in my top 3 metal albums of the year that year, best albums in City of Evil, etc., etc., etc. And they were originally going to take their massive, full-scale The Stage World Tour to the States last summer, but then they got the call to tour with a little band called Metallica, and who the fuck says no to that, right? So that's why we're getting the whole shebang stateside like a year and a half after the album came out, which, you know, that's fine. It's fucking rock music. It's not hip-hop where an album or a project is old after 2 months because people don't care about seeing their live shows as much. You know, people are still gonna see Avenged. But man, I don't know about you guys, but I've got such mixed feelings about this lineup. This fucking bill feels so put together by a promoter, which, look, when you're playing like the Xfinity Center in Mass, which seats almost 20,000 people, you gotta think a little bit like this. But this lineup literally feels like some promoter sat there thinking, okay, so A7X fans are between the ages of 15 and 30. How can we make sure to get 12 and 13-year-olds and also 40-year-olds so we make sure this thing sells out? Like, that's how this thing feels like it was put together. And in the press release, M. Shadow said something about different generations of rock fans, so maybe I'm onto something about that. Let's think about it. 3 Days Grace, you get that pop rock audience and that whole metal is too heavy for me kind of thing, which is mostly middle school age or early high school age kids. And then with Prophets of Rage, let's face it, a lot of those people coming to see them are Rage Against the Machine fans, who, if you were into Rage Against the Machine in the 90s, you're probably in your late 30s or early 40s, which I will totally admit is, in their case, a real oversimplification, because a legendary band like Rage Against the Machine has way transcended generations. But still, this fucking lineup just feels so pushed together. It feels so calculated. Or maybe it's just that I'm not into either support band. It could be that too. Honestly, that's probably the real reason. Because Prophets of Rage, I'm a big fan of every individual member in that band, but that self-titled record was not very good to me. And 3 Days Grace, I mean, there's a couple tracks in their discography that are a little nostalgic, maybe, but I'm not going to go out of my way to see them. They're way too radio rock for me at this point in my listening. And what bothers me the most, actually, is that 3 Days Grace already opened for Avenged Sevenfold. I fucking saw that tour. It was back in, I think, 2011. And to me, there are so many deserving bands out there vying for that coveted opening for Avenged Sevenfold slot. Like, why would you waste it on a repeat? Why would you give it to the same band twice? That's whack to me. If you ask me, the strongest 3-band bill that Avenged Sevenfold could put together consists of one band that's a little more radio-friendly and rock-oriented, and then one band that's a little more metal and a little heavier. And Avenged Sevenfold kind of acts as the Venn diagram between those two bands, which that's basically what Avenged are. They are the bridge between hard rock and heavy metal. Like when I saw them in '09, I think it was. That's what it was. The two opening bands were Shinedown and Shadows Fall, and that makes perfect sense. Shinedown fans like Avenged Sevenfold, Shadows Fall fans, most of them like Avenged Sevenfold. They can both sit through each other's bands for 35 minutes to make it work. Because also, going off that, to play a little bit of devil's advocate here, these fucking metal tours where it's just all 4 bands are playing the same shit, just a bunch of fucking deathcore bands with squiggly handwriting, that is boring. And Avenged clearly think that's boring too, because with this lineup, at least, you know, Prophets of Rage, 3 Days Grace, 2 very different bands. So I feel them on that. And I don't want to bash this tour too much. I just feel like with the kind of clout that Avenged Sevenfold has in this industry, they could have put something together that was way sicker. Like, imagine on this bill Trivium instead of Prophets of Rage. Or imagine Nothing More instead of 3 Days Grace. Just saying. So yeah, I'm really on the fence here about whether I'm going to go to this thing. Because on one hand, I'm dying to hear these stage songs live. But on the other hand, I could maybe wait for the second run and hopefully get more value for my money depending on who's on the bill. But we'll see. There's literally like 5 dates on this run that I could go to, so I might cave. And if I do cave, you guys will be the first to know. As always, thanks so much for watching, guys. What do you think about this Avenged Sevenfold tour? Are you excited about it? Do you think it's a strong bill? Or are you like me and you're a little more mixed on it? Let me know in the comment section. If you're not subscribed to my channel, please consider doing so by clicking here, and definitely consider signing up for the Ryan Panny Music email list. Link is in the description, and I'll see you guys soon.